Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to a video on the channel. What we have for you today is our preview video going into game week 19 of FPL, nearly halfway through the entire season. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. The support has been incredible, to be honest. Like we did have a goal of getting to 100 subscribers at some point this season, and we've absolutely smashed that by Christmas because of your support. So whether you've been here from the beginning or just recently, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Hopefully, we can continue to grow as a small channel, and let's get into the video. So, we are recording this before the Wolves Chelsea game, and hopefully, we've got a couple more points coming into the team. A few question marks literally in the squad because we've got Colwell and Palmer still to play, and we do need their points to help us this game week because we're sitting on 28 points. The defence have done nothing after last game week where we got so many clean sheets. To get absolutely nothing this game week is disappointing, especially because I took out Sufal, who actually ended up getting a clean sheet against Man United. Conser conceded against Sheffield, and Pedro Porro got conceded a late goal late on. And other than that, there's not much happening. Like Watkins was unlucky; he had like an assist disallowed. The goal was disallowed for Villa. Otherwise, that could have changed things there. And but I can't complain too much because I've had so much go right for me so far this season. It's you've got to take the rough with the smooth. Son and Salah got attacking returns, which is great. I'll never say no to that. And it was a red arrow down to 16k. But if you'd have told me at the start of the season, or any stage of the season really, that by Christmas I'd be about in the top 0.001% overall rank of all FPL players, I wouldn't have believed you. So we always want green arrows, but I'm not daft enough, I don't think, to believe that I'm always going to get a green arrow and it's always going to be keeping on going up and up and up until you hit the number one spot. Like, I will absolutely take this rank and I'm super grateful for it, really. So hopefully we can, get a few more points to the tally and keep building on it after Christmas. So let's take a look at the fixtures for this game week. And Christmas is a bit of a hectic time for a lot of people, and the fixture schedule does not lend itself well. That 11 o'clock deadline on Boxing Day, if you're planning on having a bit of a busy Christmas, you may be going to want to sort your team out before sort of Christmas Day, Boxing Day, in case you lose track of time. You don't want to be missing the deadline when the game weeks are coming thick and fast. In terms of captaincy, I think it'd be interesting to see if Haaland's back. Really, I think if he has a chance of being back, I'll probably want to captain him just because the ownership has dropped off so much. Like it's not exactly a differential, but it is a point to target. Everton away. You'd like to think would be a good fixture for Man City. They've had that break away from the league, and you'd think they'll come back a bit refreshed with a new goal in mind. If you don't have Haaland or you don't want to captain Haaland, I would captain Salah away at Burnley. I think that is a great option and still something in my mind that I could still do anyway. There is a chance to captain Haaland, vice captain Salah, of course, but I might just captain Salah to not take the risk. My team, as it stands for this game week, the fixtures look okay, to be honest. Like I've left Simicast in there. We've just found out this morning that he's got a fractured collarbone, and this is why we have two free transfers going into every game week in case there's an emergency, because that sort of injury you can't necessarily predict. Not that you can predict any injury, but it's that sort of broken collarbone. It's not very typical for a footballer to get. So really unfortunate for him, but that does need addressing in my team. I was also considering taking out Onana, so we will have a look at transfers for both players. Reason I'm thinking of taking out Onana, or at least making a goalkeeper transfer, is because Onana is going to the Africa Cup of Nations, we think, if he gets selected by Cameroon. So I don't want to leave too many transfers too late because we've also got Son and Salah to also take out of my team when they leave for their respective international competitions. So, I think if I can plan ahead and make some preemptive transfers in some areas of my team, that's going to be beneficial in the long run because I definitely don't want to take Salah and Son out too early. So, in terms of goalkeeper transfers, the first keeper I'm looking at is Petrovic for Chelsea. Now, it would mean a double up in defence with him and Colwell, and I am questioning Chelsea's consistency overall, but the fixtures do look great. Um, he is quite low owned, which some people might see as a plus. But for me, I'm in a position like with my overall rank where I don't necessarily, need to take loads of risks, or not need to, but I don't really want to take loads of risk, which might be seen as boring. But I guess in a goalkeeper sense, the point spread is so small that it's somewhere where you could have an upside if you did get someone who was loaned like Petrovic. My main issue with getting him in is that he's not the first choice. So as soon as Sanchez comes back, or they might even get in a keeper in the January transfer window, there's been talk of them going for Ramsdale. Like he's out of the team, is Petrovic. So if I'm bringing him in, it's also like planning a transfer to take him out again in the near future, which I don't really want to get myself booked into. We've talked a lot about how we're planning in a lot of transfers for Son and Salah. I don't really want to um, make that move right now, especially because we're getting him in to replace Onana in a couple of game weeks. Like, if he's not going to be playing in a couple of game weeks, what's the point? My next player I'm thinking of doing is Raya. Now, I don't have an Arsenal defender as it stands, so he gives me a way into the Arsenal defence. And there is also that risk that although he's playing consistently, Arteta does just play Ramsdale for one game, just kind of like throws him a game, and Raya gets rotated out, which isn't going to be ideal. He is a similar price as Onana here, so I wouldn't have to take up too much of my transfer budget. I've got 0.5 million in the bank, and he does actually have the second or joint second most clean sheets in the Premier League. My third keeper is Pickford. Now, he is the cheapest goalkeeper out of the three, and he is always going to start. So I could actually move Turner to Pickford. I could afford that. It would take all my budget, but then I could just bench Onana for a couple of game weeks and then kind of see how it goes, how long Onana's away for, and then rotate Onana back in. Um, he does have mixed fixtures, but I mean, to say the least, Onana's also had mixed fixtures. So, and he is the top scoring keeper in Fantasy League. So, I mean, in that respect, I'm not too worried about it. I am willing now to sort of wait and see whether Onana A does actually go to the Africa Cup of Nations, and B, I've kind of got the Simicast transfer to deal with as well. Turner also has Brentford, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle, and West Ham between game weeks 21 and 25, with three of those five fixtures at home. So an option is just to kind of bench Onana for the games that he's not here. Hope he's not away too long and just play Turner because the goalkeeper's points are a little bit sporadic and inconsistent at best. So yeah, that's some talk about my goalkeeper transfers. I know a very glamorous sort of area of the pitch to be talking about, but it is a potential weakness for my team. So hopefully it might help you out as well. Let's take a look at Simicast's options. So I'm going to start with Gabriel. Now he is someone that we talked about last game week when I did end up deciding to get in Conser. Now Arsenal's fixtures look great. I'm not sort of knee jerking because he scored, because I think it's really hard to predict when a centre back's going to score your attacking returns. Usually you get like a couple of goals a season, and you just have to hope you have them in at that time. But for me, I think Arsenal's fixtures do look fantastic. He's a similar price range for Simicast. He was someone that I was thinking of getting in anyway, and I'm hoping that Arsenal could keep clean sheets over the next few game weeks. My other option is Trent. Now, this is a bit of a crazier move because it would involve two free transfers, both free transfers, and likely taking out Salah for Bowen 2 weeks earlier than I would want to, because I need the funds to upgrade to Trent. Now, getting in Bowen, West Ham's fixture away at Arsenal, I'm not a massive fan of, and I'm not entirely convinced of Liverpool's form once Salah goes in game week 21. Like, people will think someone else will like replace Salah's goals and score Salah's goals. Doesn't always happen like that. So I am leaning towards the Gabriel transfer, but if you have got any opinions on it, please do let me know. If you've got any questions as well, leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for all the support. Hope you have a great Christmas if you're celebrating Christmas, and a good Fantasy League period. And I will see you in the next one.